I titled this video, The Good and the Bad of President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, President of Senegal. This video is to look at the mystery behind this. There's so many things people have been touching on, and a lot they don't mention. But I am not seeing Senegal for God's sake. I'm seeing the whole of West Africa and the African continent at large, and what this election is bringing to light. Let's start with some of the goods and some of the bad. So I'll be jumping in between and you will see where we are going. Now, one of the places where I want to start with is this man was elected as a president by a group of people. Those for and those against. The for won, the against lost. He stood on the back of two things. One, eradication of poverty, and therefore I will say development. Two, the Black Pan-Africanist movement, and therefore the liberation of Africa. On that he stood, and on that he won. And therefore, the people who voted, they call themselves the Pan-Africanist movement, thinking they are voting to win an election that will free the whole continent. The black race they have in mind. That is the game they played here. And two, development. The two are connected, Africa and development. Of course, there is a connection. Now let's look at the connection and how I said this man has proven certain things and disproven certain things. One, this man proved that if you pretend to be one of the poor, if you pretend to be one of them, the masses will accept you, and the masses can make a lot of change. In other words, democracy as we know it in West Africa can work. In other words, democracy in West Africa is all about mass movement. All you need to do is to be like them, so it can work. He has proven that. Anywhere in West Africa, if you can identify the right people or the people you are appealing to and mobilize them en masse, there's nothing that is impossible. And this man has proven that. So one, the black mentalist people who call themselves Pan-Africanists and therefore Africanists, they were mass behind him. You see them with dreadlocks, they dress anyhow, they are in the gutters, you see them in the ghettos, some of them with flips, some of them with cocaine, so just there's something else. And a lot of them have got the old young people into them. This guy satisfied them. He won. Now, another thing he did, remember very well, he has two wives. So, his age, you remember, there is the noise, some people say, a baby with two wives. But this man, for me, is older than the new Prime Minister of Ireland. That is 35. This young man is 44. And so I won't call him a child. However, he has two wives. Remember, a lot of the old guards on the continent of Africa, particularly in West Africa, particularly Senegal, Mali, and Niger, they have more than one wives. Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, they tend to have two wives. Now, so he identified with them. He is one of them. These are people who are more of traditional or conservative. He's one of them. So you can see. Now, he came in to win. Another thing about this conservative man, a man with 2 wives, says a lot in today's West Africa. He identifies with that school of thoughts. You can have as many wives as you like. That is this man. The next one is, he is a tax collector. The mystery I want to touch on of the so-called African continent. I've been to Ghana, Nigeria, Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Gambia, Togo, Benin Republic. There is something very, very common in all these places. We call it the black market, the black network. This man has exposed it. A tax collector. In my last video, I was explaining how they collect this tax and why they are the masses that vote and vote for people that keep them poor. Now see, the tax collection is, this man is a tax collector. They go about, you see them in Accra, they are connected to the tribal leaders. They are all imams or pastors somewhere, depending upon those who control the locality, or a chief. What they do by connection they get into the tax collection system is that the people, imagine a market in Ghana like Malata Market, a market like a Nima Market, Agbogloshi. They come daily because those people cannot pay tax. They are peasants. They are very poor. And these are the voters in election. So what these people do to them is that they come every day. Per day you come to sell, whether you are carrying something, whether you are seated somewhere, whatever you are doing, they find a way of identify you and you pay a token. We call it lampo. So every day you sell, you pay. These are the young man, and this is one of the people who collect tax from them. What do? They give you a ticket and you give them money. And that ticket, they print their own. So for every one of the states they give 5 for themselves and they remit to their godfathers. This is one of them. Now, this is what we call the secret of the poverty of West Africa and the African continent and Senegal, to be precise. Now, this man is the product of that. Look at it this way. This is not anyone who is going to solve the problem that is there. Why? For you to change this society, there must be a cultural transformation. The politicians, you see them in Ghana, Kayayo, and so on, carrying items on the street, singing and dancing. They are organized. They are supposed to be children in school. They are supposed to be have fathers and mothers that have got jobs. But the culture has kept them down there. They give a token for what the work they do, and those guys remit those up there, and these are those that are used for election. So this system is never going to change what you want to change. To change the so-called African continent, West Africa, Ghana, Senegal, what you need, like we say, is a cultural revolution. Technology to come in for you to have the modern world. Every child must have a good start in life. Every child. How can you have 2, 3, 4 wives? Breeding babies. Babies, you don't know how they grow. You don't have time for yourself. How can you have time for these children? And therefore, this system, yes, has proven that if we're able to mobilize the people want a change. That's why they are voting. But they are voting for the wrong reasons, thinking they are voting for the right reasons. We have always said we will go to the base of dishonesty and uproot it to get honesty to take over our destiny. If we want to go into space, we want to produce aeroplane, we want to do so many wonderful things, we want to live quality life as Europeans are doing.